But if you are, like, the good guideline is 1 gram per body pound. Per body pound? Per pound of body. Or pound of body. So you got spirulina, 58 grams of protein. Chlorella, that's another superfood, 58 grams of protein. TVP, so it's like little seeds or whatever, 53 grams of protein per 100 grams. Hemp seeds, 33 grams. So if you want to replace chicken, you go straight to hemp seeds.
Yeah.
Throw that in the shake, and it's like the best thing. Pumpkin seeds, 30 grams, and lentils, 26 grams. It's crazy. It's some stuff that I never really even considered, like, especially on lentils. I don't even know what lentils taste like, but I really want to try spirulina and chlorella and see what it tastes like, because it really just looks like green powder.
So you're gonna try the Tempe too, then?
No, I'm not gonna do that.
Welcome to polysci.org.
Almost there. Just one more time.
Welcome to polysci.org.
Talk about Dietz.
So on our Google chat for the Polysci pre-show, we got into a nice little conversation about veganism, and Anthony had this provocative question stating how do we all feel about mandating veganism, if not that, banning the factory farms for increased sustainability?
Yeah, so the factory farms are the ones where they take all those pigs, like the giant thing of pigs. So, like, you ever seen the big storehouse where they have, like, chickens as far as the eye can see, basically?
Yes.
Tens of thousands of, like, these animals stacked on top of each other. Yeah. That's the factory farm. So vegans and vegetarians and stuff want to ban it.
I don't blame them. Those are super cruel. And it's all to feed our fat faces at KFC.
You say it's super cruel. 2 points. First, you say it's super cruel, but, like, how much do we actually care about these animals? Like,
enough to not want them to have their beaks ripped off and their claws pulled off.
That might be a little messed up.
Yeah.
It's a little messed up.
Yeah. And they have them, like, they shoot them full of steroids to where they can't even stand, and it is really bad. Like, honestly, I don't particularly care about chickens. I'm not going to be, I don't mean to be a jerk sounding, but I don't particularly care about chickens, but I do care about life in general. Enough to see when I see what goes on in those factories, it's brutal. It's really hard to watch.
Suffering.
If anything is just hard enough to watch to make you wince or look away, then, like, chances are, like, something needs to be done about it. Like, come on.
That's fair. Like, it's very difficult. If you type in the YouTube factory farm, like, compilation, like, you will see, like, this can't be real. Like, the way the handlers, and I think that's an interesting phenomenon as well. The psychology of the handlers of, like, these factory farm chickens or whatever. Like, they'll just pick up the chickens and throw them into baskets, like, hardcore, like, as hard as they can. They'll play games where they just, like, kick them around. Like, it's something about the desensitization of people when it's a bulk of them. For some reason, even human beings, and when we are in small groups and there's only a few people in our town, we're more likely to say hello. We're more likely to be nice to the next person. But if we're in a major city, if we're in San Francisco or if we're in New York City, we just don't have the time to care about you.
It's like the accountability. It's like there's an elevated level of accountability there when you feel like you could be identified later.
Yeah.
Like, you make more of an impression on the environment around you. So you hold yourself a little bit more responsible for your behavior every single time you're in public.
So, interestingly enough, I saw this one phenomenon where if you are in a group setting, I'm going to butcher this. God dang it. If you're in a group setting, you are less likely to help a person in distress than if you were by yourself. Which is counterintuitive. And I hope I'm not getting that backwards. But if you're by yourself and someone is like, help, like, and you shut up, psh, like, you are more likely to go over and help than if you were in a group of people. You would just look. Also,
there's the hero. It's like you want to be a hero.
Is that what it is?
I think so. Also, it's like, you've got a person can be more like, motivated by their audience, like by who's looking at them. It can motivate their whole way of being, like their behavior.
So, like, I found it interesting that, like, you are able to just, like, become so desensitized to like suffering in general, like given the environmental factors. So anyway, back to the factory farming, like for some reason the handlers in these factory farms, they treat these animals horribly. And then the people that design it and the people that run it, like what is it about, like there's this giant mass of them, so we just don't care about their suffering at all? Like how does that happen?
I think that might have some like maybe defense mechanisms, maybe coping mechanisms for working there. Like maybe you go into it just needing a job and a paycheck, and you don't have anything, kind of like me. Maybe you're a person like me where you don't necessarily, care about these animals, but you really don't, you don't want to see them die either. But then you get there, you realize, you're at a factory farm, so they're going to die. But you go into it not really knowing what to expect as far as what you're going to see, because nobody really knows until you get into the each farm to see what exactly, what they're doing. And maybe you just realize that, I need this paycheck. So you kind of turn your brain off a little bit to it. And the longer you're there, I think like your group, like your humans group is, they kind of work to make it more about, they're nothing and we are the superiors. Honestly, like it's kind of Holocausty if you think about it.
Yeah, because I imagine. So I gotta imagine you have this in-group, out-group mentality, and couple that with this traumatic event that you get to witness every day, and you develop this morbid sense of humor and a morbid sense of of action. There were soldiers in World War One. Maybe in World War II. I think World War II. And they were in the trenches and soldiers were blowing up, and you would watch your best friend get his head shot off right next to you. And then, so you saw these things on a consistent basis, and there were people who would just like pick up a hand and say, "Oh, bit of gem here. Here's a bit of gem here."
Oh, mercy.
And then they pick up a nose, say, "Oh, another bit of gem here." And it's like the soldiers are cracking up laughing. They develop this morbid sense of humor. But the same thing happens with police officers.
It's trauma too. It's almost shock.
Mm-hmm.
Like
you got to do something.
Same thing happens with police officers, you said?
Yeah, they develop a morbid sense of humor, like paramedics, people who see like stuff that you really shouldn't see on a day-to-day basis. They have like a darker sense of humor. Mm-hmm. It's not necessarily bad, and I think it is a defense mechanism. But like, maybe the same thing happens with the people in the factory farms, where like, and I don't want to blame them because they're human beings, but like,
but knocking around a chicken like a soccer ball,
it's a goddamn chicken, it's gonna die anyway. You saw the thing that happened yesterday where that one got stuck in a cog. And it just kept screaming for like an hour and a half.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So like I can't do this thing where this is an actual like living being, or I'll die. Right. I'll lose my mind.
You'll lose it, or you'll have to quit, and you need the job. Like at the end of the day, who matters more, your wife and kids at home, or these chickens?
Mm-hmm. So there's been some reactions from people who have completely given up meat. So you have like 4 different types, from what I can find, is like 4 different kinds of vegetarians. You have lacto-ovo vegetarians. They drink milk and eat eggs. You have ovo vegetarians. They don't drink milk, but they'll eat eggs and honey. Lacto vegetarians, they drink milk and honey, but they won't eat eggs. And then vegans, and they don't eat dairy,
anything from an animal,
or honey, nothing from an animal.
Okay,
which is interesting.
The vegan thing seems to be the hardest lifestyle wise. We have Samantha Dietz was on our pre-show on the Google Hangouts, and we got her quoted saying that she said banning factory farms would be awesome. Many vegans don't think any animals should ever die, but I know people have different lifestyles, and that's just not always possible. I think legal, ethical hunting is much more sustainable than factory farms. So I found that interesting. So she's a vegan, and but she was saying that ethical hunting is more sustainable. It's not necessarily that she agrees with consuming the animals, but she definitely is in favor of the
hunting in general,
cleaner way of hunting rather than the farm.
Her like underlying point was that hunting was a more sustainable means of meat acquisition. Mm-hmm. And it was really cool because like listening to her, it was like it wasn't an extremist point of view. A lot of times you speak to a vegan and it's like, oh, killing animals is murder. You wouldn't kill a baby, would you? It's like, yeah, you're starting to irk me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But like talking to her, it was like it was a more nuanced opinion where it was like, no, hunting is more ethical. If you're going to kill an animal, like this is the way to go. Which is like, I couldn't agree more. Yeah. Like when you shoot an animal in the wild, like you're taking this thing's life. It was going to die anyway. Like, and it was going to die a bad death. It was going to break his leg and starve to death, or something was going to come and eat it. You took it and it died in a fraction of a second. If it was a clean shot, or a few seconds, that's way better than being eaten foot first by a bear. Okay. So to see a vegan say, no, definitely hunting is a more sustainable, better way of meat acquisition. I really appreciated that. But it was, I found it interesting.
It's on a case by case basis. Like it's on a, like you kill what you need and you eat what you need and it's gone. Then it's done. You're not modifying these animals. You're not just torturing them throughout their, however short their lives may be. Doesn't matter, and it's, if that's how you're going to do it, if that's how you need to eat meat and you've chosen to eat meat, that's the way to do it.
So we were talking to her some more about how much water it takes to produce a pound of meat versus like wheat. And she threw out some really cool statistics. Yeah,
Samantha's point on environmental sustainability she said, to put this into perspective, it takes 2,000 to 2,500 gallons of water to produce 1 pound of beef and only 25 to produce 1 pound of wheat. She says, I'm not saying every vegan food has a perfect carbon footprint, but you can imagine the huge difference eating plant-based makes over time.
So with statistically,
that statistic,
statistically, almost half of the water used in the United States is used to raise animals. So half of all the water in the United States goes to raising animals for food. Wow. 2,400 gallons goes to 1 pound of meat. And it's actually more, 5,000 pounds. If you want beef, 5,000 pounds for every 5,000 gallons of water for every 1 pound of beef, and 25 gallons for 1 pound of wheat.
We do love our beef. So I found another cool little factoid from psychologytoday.com. Said the U.S. uses about 1/2 of its land for agriculture. Unfortunately, the majority is used to raise livestock, such as cattle, hogs, and poultry, or for crops consumed by livestock, which I didn't think about either. Like a lot of crops that you have, like corn in particular, and wheat as well. But corn is a big one because they produce a lot of corn, and only a fraction of it is for human consumption. Most of it's for animals.
Yeah, and a lot of it gets thrown away. So here's what gets weird about the farming in general is the fact that we have protectionist policies to protect that specific industry. And every country does this to certain industries. So we have farmers in the Midwest, and a lot of them, a lot of farmland. So we have all of this corn and like just crops being produced, too much of it. As a matter of fact, even after all the animals, everything.
Oh, wow.
So we could export it, but it would crush other countries like farming or whatever. Rather, we could import it from other countries, but it would crush ours. So everybody has protectionist policies for their particular crop. So we will give money to our farmers and we'll pay for their crop so that we don't,
whether it's used or not,
so that we don't import it. Yeah. Wow. So if we import, say, like right now, to get a pound of sugar, the one of those 5-pound bags from Walmart or whatever of sugar, it's produced in the United States, but we could get it for half price if we imported it from India or somewhere in Africa. Get it for half price, which is perfect. It's awesome, but it would cripple our farming crops here. Yeah. So we have these protectionist policies where like, no, we'll get it from here, and then the American government will subsidize the industry itself right here in the good old US of A. As far as the ethics for producing meat over just vegetables, just purely vegetables, like what do you think will happen if we just switched over to everyone has to be vegetarian? We're no longer eating meat in the United States.
So the good news, I guess, about that would be all of the land that, like we were talking about, that's being used to raise and maintain livestock can be used to raise vegetarian crops, which will be cool. The downside to that is one of the downsides. Probably just one downside that I can think of so far is the other concern for the environment is the use of pesticides, chemical fertilizers, and things like that. So we're going to probably need to tighten up on like, what is it, like agricultural laws, I guess. What kind of stuff can be used? Maybe we can go to like green fertilizers and
you have other issues organic as well with like Monsanto is a huge problem. Like they produce the seeds for people's farms, but they're monsters. Like so Monsanto produces like seeds that can produce a tomato that is able to travel from the West Coast to the East Coast, and they do it by genetically altering it and combining it with the jellyfish, like jellyfish cells. Like I'm dead serious.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but two big problems. One is there's been some issues ethically, like modifying. Like some people don't like the idea of modifying the cells, and in Islam, you're not allowed to. That's the creation of Allah, so you can't. You're not supposed to do that. The scientific argument is that we have this giant population and it's expanding rapidly, and this is just another technology, and we've always been modifying different kind of crops. Like look at maize and look at today's corn. You would not eat maize. Like you wouldn't. Like we kept modifying it, and just so happened we've gotten to a point now where we can introduce different DNA strains into these crops, which isn't necessarily unethical. It's just what we've always been doing to a larger degree.
Okay.
So it's like I don't know. It's a gray area, but not really. Like,
I mean, from what I can tell, like I don't think humans need nearly as much meat as we think we do, or certainly not as much as we want. I mean, it's I think that's also a huge cultural thing. Samantha she also made a great point about different cultures around the world.
Samantha Dietz.
Yes, this is Samantha Dietz, the one that was on our pre-show chat. She was talking about like different cultures such as like Indian food, Thai food, Mediterranean food. She says all of these are like largely plant-based diets and like ingredients that they use. It's kind of to me it's a hyper American, like Southern American even thing for every meal to have a meat, a starch, and a vegetable. And that is what every meal looks like if you're in a good,
Yeah, but it wasn't always like that. Like we just like basically even in America, we just started introducing like meat being the substantial portion of the meal. Like back during the times of the Pilgrims, like it was mainly vegetables. It was just vegetables. Yeah, with a small touch of meat, and it was like that for a really long time. Where it was like the main course was not meat.
Yeah, it wouldn't be. Yeah, it certainly wouldn't be cow. Like I think at best it'd be like pig. Or some kind of bird.
Oh, here's a weird one for you. Did you know the pigeon was originally we brought it here in order to shoot it and eat, like not shoot it, but like that was supposed to be our meat, like an easy.
I could see that
to harvest meat.
It was like a 1 serving meal too, isn't it? Like
just a little thing. But we weren't. But we stopped eating them. So now you have pigeons freaking everywhere. We're supposed to be shooting these jammies right in the face. So. Yeah. One of my biggest argument or my biggest concern was the protein acquisition. Like meat is protein in my mind.
We can get protein everywhere.
I had no idea. So there's little stuff like peanut butter, 25. So to put it in perspective, chicken is 31 grams of protein for every 100 grams. Tuna is 29. Beef is 28. Eggs is 12.5. So like. Even some of these I did know. Peanut butter, 25 grams of protein. Almonds, 21. Black beans, 21. Tempeh, what she was talking about, Dietz she was saying that tempeh is a good substitute, and it looks like a tofu thing. 18 grams of protein. The thing is, I have no idea, and it looks like garbage. She was saying, no, it tastes fine, like it's really good. I know everybody hates soy, but tempeh's actually really good. And I'm like, nah. Nah, it looks like garbage. Nah.
I want to try it.
Nah, hard pass. No, it looks like garbage. No.
Oh gosh, Samantha's trying to broaden your horizon.
So I go even further in the protein direction. So spirulina.
What is that?
So I think it's one of those superfood things. 58 grams of protein. 58 grams of protein. Wow. Like chicken's 31. That's the biggest one as far as meat goes.
Yeah.
Spirulina. 58 grams of protein.
So I think there's a misconception as to how much protein we really need. I think
for a male, you need like 50 something, and a female, you need like 30
in a day.
40, I think. I have that statistic somewhere.
Because you and I were actually talking about it when we were discussing like fitness and the bodybuilders' diets and stuff like that, and how the emphasis on protein in a diet has kind of been recently exaggerated a little bit.
100%. So technically, a male needs 56 grams of protein. A female needs 46 grams of protein for a normal American. Obviously, you're not a normal American because Americans are giant. So you probably need, let's say, double that. So 102 for if you're a male. So bodybuilders, for a male, you need 1 gram of protein for every pound of body weight. So if you're lifting weights, let's say you're 200 pounds, you need 200 grams, which is like 4 times more than what Americans are supposed to have. So technically, you might be over proteining if you're not like seriously working out. But if you are, like the good guideline is 1 gram per body pound. Per body pound? Per pound of body. Or pound of body. So you got spirulina, 58 grams of protein. Chlorella, that's another superfood, 58 grams of protein. TVP, so it's like little seeds or whatever, 53 grams of protein per 100 grams. Hemp seeds, 33 grams. So if you want to replace chicken, you go straight to hemp seeds.
Yeah.
Throw that in the shake, and it's like the best thing. Pumpkin seeds, 30 grams, and lentils, 26 grams. It's crazy. It's some stuff that I never really even considered, like especially on lentils. I don't even know what lentils taste like, but I really want to try spirulina and chlorella and see what it tastes like, because it really just looks like grain powder.
So you're gonna try the Tempe too, then?
No, I'm not gonna do that.
I
think the show is done.
Are we done?
I think we are finished. It's 11:11. We're out of here.
Yes.
The show is over. We would like for you to do one thing for us. Tell 2 friends to download the Polysite podcast. Shoot them an email, a text, a raven, anything. Just tell 2 friends to download the Polysite podcast. 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 Tell 2 friends to download the Polysite podcast.
How many friends?
No, like 4 or 5.
I'm gonna tell them all. Thanks, everyone.